Why did Taehyung leave the venue with teary eyes right after Chris Martin mentioned Jungkook's name in a statement that no one ever expected? This sentence is now stirring waves of speculation, especially among BTS fans around the world. No one anticipated that in an event supposedly filled with collaboration and celebration, there would be an emotional moment that left behind a giant question. What exactly did Chris Martin say that made V of BTS, or Kim Taehyung, leave the room with visible tears? This incident occurred in an atmosphere initially filled with anticipation and unity. At a closed event attended by international musicians, including Coldplay members and HYBE labels representatives, Chris Martin's remarks about his relationship and hopes for Jungkook's future drastically changed the mood of the room. What shocked many was not just the content of the statement, but Taehyung's emotional response. He stood up, walked out without saying a word, with a face clearly showing deep sorrow. What exactly is happening between the three, Chris Martin, Jungkook, and Taehyung? Is something unfolding behind the scenes of the global entertainment industry involving BTS and Coldplay? Is this a sign of internal conflict, emotional tension, or a deep empathy not yet revealed to the public? According to a source present in the room, Chris Martin made a statement that sounded like praise, but carried an unexpected emotional weight. He stated, "Jungkook is the most sincere artist I have ever met in my life. His energy, his solitude, and his struggle to stand tall move me deeply. I hope the world gives him the space he's been looking for." This was said during a discussion about Coldplay's collaborations with K-pop artists, but turned out to be a pivotal moment that triggered Taehyung's reaction. Why did those words affect Taehyung so deeply? Is it related to his closeness to Jungkook? Is there an emotional burden he's been carrying that finally erupted in public after hearing a confession from Chris Martin, a figure who clearly understands the emotional dynamics of an artist? So far, BTS's management, Big Hit Music, has not released an official statement. However, several media analysts and Korean pop culture experts have emphasized that this incident should not be taken lightly. They pointed out that interactions between BTS members and prominent figures like Chris Martin go beyond musical collaboration. They involve a more complex psychological dimension. There's pain, tension, and unspoken emotions that have never been publicly addressed, said a K-pop analyst who asked to remain anonymous. Furthermore, observers speculate that Taehyung's emotional reaction is a reflection of long-held internal conflict. Given the immense pressure BTS members have faced, especially during the military service transition period and discussions of new contracts affecting the group's future, this incident may be just the tip of a much larger iceberg. It's worth noting that the relationship between Jungkook and Chris Martin has been under media attention since their collaboration on My Universe. In various interviews, both Jungkook and Chris Martin have shown a bond deeper than professional ties. Chris referred to Jungkook as someone who understands loneliness deeply, while Jungkook said Chris gave him a new perspective on being an honest artist. So where does Taehyung stand in this dynamic? As Jungkook's close friend in BTS, Taehyung has always been seen as supportive but emotionally reserved. He rarely displays sadness in public, making his reaction this time all the more shocking. Some netizens pointed out that Taehyung's facial expression before leaving the room showed signs of shock and pain, as if Chris Martin's statement unveiled something he had been trying to hide. From a psychological perspective, a mental health expert noted that the BTS members share an extremely close bond and have been through many hardships together. When someone we love is mentioned in an emotionally profound context, spontaneous emotional reactions like crying may surface as a form of emotional release, they explained. Taehyung may have felt that the statement touched on an old wound or a fear he hadn't publicly addressed. Adding to the speculation is the fact that Taehyung declined to speak to the media after leaving the venue. He only gave a brief gesture to staff who tried to approach him, then entered a vehicle and headed straight to his residence. Meanwhile, Chris Martin has yet to comment on Taehyung's reaction, though Coldplay's camp stated that Chris's message was made in sincerity and admiration for young artists like Jungkook. In a recent development, reports claim that Jungkook himself was not present at the event, but he was reportedly made aware of what happened. A source said that Jungkook responded to the situation with a brief statement to management. I hope he didn't misunderstand. This raises more questions. Did Taehyung interpret Chris Martin's statement as something personal or painful? Or does he believe there's a deeper truth Jungkook has yet to reveal, and Chris unintentionally opened the door? This situation is now attracting global media attention, not just because of the high-profile individuals involved, but because it suggests an emotional dynamic not yet fully understood. Many are hoping big hit music will soon provide clarity to prevent misleading assumptions that could ultimately harm the artists themselves. Meanwhile, BTS fans continue to show their support in various ways. Several ARMY communities have held virtual solidarity events, reading poems and sharing messages of love for Taehyung and Jungkook, emphasizing the importance of mental health and honest communication amidst the pressure of stardom. "We don't know what's happening, but we want them to know they are not alone," said one fan during a live stream by an international fan base. The big question still looms. What really happened in that moment? Did Taehyung feel betrayed, left out, or just care too deeply to hold back his emotions? And more importantly, is this a sign that Jungkook is hiding something far bigger from the public eye? In time, the truth may surface, but for now, one thing is clear. There's a wound that hasn't healed, a statement too deep to explain, and a relationship now being tested by unexpected reality. Is this merely a spontaneous emotional incident, or the beginning of a bigger revelation that could reshape public perception of the internal dynamics between BTS members and their collaborators? The world waits in suspense, and fans can only hope that all involved find peace and the courage to speak further. This sudden and emotionally charged event has also opened space for broader reflection. Do you, as readers and fans, truly believe this incident is genuine? Or could it be a carefully orchestrated narrative meant to captivate global attention? Are we witnessing a real emotional breakdown, or simply consuming a media construct designed to stir engagement and provoke response? We must remember that the information presented here is derived from various media sources, including TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and other platforms. However, the authenticity of these sources remains uncertain and still requires further verification. In this era of viral content and algorithm-driven exposure, it's more important than ever to remain cautious. Could this article reflect real emotional depth? Or is it part of an emotional spectacle created for consumption? Are we participating in an emotional truth, or simply in digital theater? We urge you, the audience, to reflect critically. How do we differentiate between what's true and what's fabricated when everything spreads so quickly? What is our role as consumers of such information? Are we complicit in perpetuating sensationalism, or are we striving for truth? As news stories continue to blur the lines between reality and narrative, we must maintain a sense of skepticism and responsibility. Ask yourself, did this truly happen the way it's reported, or are we being led by emotional manipulation and media framing? Thank you.